My name is Gwen Smalls, and I am with Gwen on the Bough podcast. My topic today is going to be a little different. It's going to be about the assassination attempt and assassination of four presidents. That's President Lincoln, President Kennedy, attempt on Trump, and possibly Barack Obama. Now, I need my glasses because I have my notes. This is going to be dealing with somewhat part of Havana syndrome. Like I said before, Havana syndrome is on me still. I still feel the grinding, and I still feel the cricket noise in my ears. So it hasn't gone anywhere since the last time we spoke. So I'm going to put my glasses on so that we can talk. My voice is a little strained because of the Havana syndrome. So this is starting first with the first president of the United States was President Lincoln. President Abraham Lincoln was the first president who was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth on April 14th of 1865. That's like 3 years before slavery ended. President Barack President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth. He was a Confederate sympathizer at Ford Theater in Washington, D.C. He was shot in the back of the head. Wilkes Booth tried to revive the Confederate cause. He believed that Lincoln had revived the South, had ruined the South. He believed that he didn't like the idea of free slaves and black men being able to vote. Now, getting back to John L. Wilkes. John L. Wilkes was a Confederate sympathizer, meaning that he believed in the Confederacy. Now, I'm from Virginia, and I know all about the Confederacy. We got Confederate flags still hanging up on the poles in people's yards, on their mailboxes, on their sheds. Confederate was the Confederate soldiers that fought in the war against the Union to end slavery. But yet, Booth did not see that as being a benefit for black people. He liked it just the way that it was. He was also a white supremacist. He was a white supremacy. He believed in white people being first. He believed white people being better than anyone else. He believed that white blood is better than black blood. He believed that black skin is not a supremacy. So he believed in such things as racist things against America and against black people. The second president that was assassinated was John F. Kennedy. Most of you know John F. Kennedy. You have admired John F. Kennedy, and you see John F. Kennedy as a good president. He wasn't before. His relationship with Martin Luther King, from what I understand, is the reason why he was assassinated. I'm not sure, but that's what I was told. Because he was working with Martin Luther King with the Civil Rights Bill, 1964 Civil Rights Bill, and he was letting black people into the White House, and people didn't agree with that. So John F. Kennedy, on November 22nd, 1963, in Dallas, Texas, was shot twice by, assumingly, Lee Harvey Oswald on the sixth floor of the Texas School Book Depository. He was rushed to Memorial Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. He was killed by Jack Ruby once he was arrested. Lee Harvey Oswald. We know all about conspiracies. Now, conspiracies is when people think that things that could be true, they believe that the CIA and the FBI had something to do with the killing of John F. Kennedy. I'm not sure, but I do know I wasn't around that time. I was born in 68. He was shot and killed in 63. But from what I learned in school and from what I learned from hearing people talk, is that he was being friends with black people, and people didn't like that. They didn't like that at all. And that's why he was shot by Lee Harvey Oswald. But the conspiracy is he was shot twice. It was one in the bush, and there was one on the laboratory. So the conspiracy is that no one really knows if Harvey Oswald shot him twice because they said it's impossible for them to be in two places at one time. I'll let you decide on that. If you think that Lee Harvey Oswald shot Kennedy twice. And with the light of everything that's going on in the world today with Charles Kirk, I decided to also add Trump. Trump was Trump was attempted assassination against him. It was attempt assassination. So Trump bullet grazed the upper part of his right ear. He was shot by Thomas Matthew Crooks at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13, 2024. Crook was shot and killed by a Secret Service counter sniper. He was 20 years old. He was carrying an AK-15, and he's from Bertha Park, Pennsylvania. There was also someone else that was killed named Corey, commentator, who was also killed, shielding his family. With Trump, it's hard to really say if they really tried to shoot him because he was grazed on his ear. And then again, you never know. Some people say that that's just part of why he got into the White House because of that. Good evening, Miss Harris. How are you? So that's what they believe would happen with Trump. They believe that Trump was grazed, and that's how he ended in the White House. I'm not sure. I just know that he was shot, and a lot of people think that it was a setup. Just recently, one of his administrators in his cabinet was just shot, Corey Kirk. He was in Utah about to have a rally talking about his belief in black supremacy, black people not being. Give me 1 second. This is the Havana syndrome. Black people, and I just saw an episode of President Barack Obama where he was saying things that he actually said, that he don't believe that Martin Luther King is good. He don't believe the 1964 Voting Rights Act was a great thing. He believed that Barack, wife Michelle, and Jackson, I'm assuming Supreme Court Jackson, are don't have brain power. I'm not saying that he deserved to get what he got, but I can say that for someone to feel that way about a person is horrible. We didn't do anything. We came over here because they brought us over here. They brought us over here. And today I'm wearing my Barack Obama shirt because I want to tell my story about Barack Obama. Yeah, the fourth attempt is President Barack Obama. And that's when Havana syndrome comes into play. Havana syndrome, I believe, also set up Kennedy and Trump. I know it might not be easy for you guys to get that, but I believe that. It wasn't around when Kennedy was around, but white supremacy was, and the Civil War was. So people had a mindset on what they thought of black people being enslaved and carrying the wealth of the South. getting to Barack Obama. He was the one who came up with Havana syndrome. So what is Havana syndrome? Havana syndrome is an infrasound microwave frequency that does things to my whole entire body. It does things to my ears, it does things to my mouth, to my tongue, to grinding in my head. It also controls sometimes the way that I think. It slows down my speech, it slows down my thinking. So I don't know if that has a lot to do with the fact that I'm about to tell my story. Now, on January 21st of 2013, before that, I was elected to be in his inauguration. We wore red hats. We had tickets on our chest, and they were yellow, and it was the only way we could get in. And I was with a group of girls, women actually, and we were all gathered around a tent. It was very cold outside. It was freezing, and we gathered around the tent. We were able to get something to eat, and we all waited for our turn to be chosen to go into a set of a breakout group so that we can go follow our leader to where we're going to be posted. So once that happened, I followed my leader and we walked near the bleachers, and we walked near the bleachers and I stopped and said, I'm going to stay here. And this is the spot that I chose. Now, while I was standing there, I saw David Axelrod. He had shaved his mustache off because he lost a bet with Barack Obama. So we're standing there, just directing people in the crowd where to go so they can get on the bleachers so they can watch the parade. So after that was done with, then we had to go to another set, a place where we could help with the crowd. So they chose me to go with, this is the Havana syndrome. They chose me and I went to the bleachers. Well, we were handing out hot pockets, hot pads to Supreme Court Justice family. And I was there with my camera ready to take pictures because we had a close view. There was hardly nobody in the bleachers where we were because we were volunteers and we were handing out hot pads to Supreme Court Justice families. So I'm there talking to the new person that I had just met. And we were just talking and laughing. And I was watching the sun over the top of the tent where they were sitting at, where they were going to be sitting at. And I could feel the same thing that I feel now with the grinding and with the frequency in my ear was still in my ear. And then all of a sudden this black lady cop came up and she stood there too. She stood in front of us. And all of a sudden I started to get anxiety. And I couldn't figure out why am I getting anxiety. And then the thought in my head was grab her gun. Because they were announcing that the Obamas were coming around the corner. And I was like, oh my God, the Obamas are coming around the corner. There's somebody who wants me to grab her gun. And I thought if I grab her gun, if it was on safety, I would get arrested. And if I grab her gun, it's not on safety, I could shoot someone. And just as I said that, the Obamas was right in front of me. He was waving to the crowd as though nothing was happening. So the anxiety was so high that I had to move back a few bleachers up to keep from thinking that I wanted to grab her gun. It bothers me still to this day that that could have happened. But it reminded me of an incident that happened with my son when he was assaulted. And they thought in my head was that you don't want that to happen again because someone else could have gotten shot. The bomber might not have gotten shot. And then again, the girl could have grabbed her gun and pulled it from me. Those are all the thoughts that was going through my head during that time. I try to tell people that. That's what the Havana syndrome does. It can make you do things that you don't want to do. It can make you do things that you want to do. And that I did not want to do. Assassinate the first black president. And my birthday is January 15th, 1968. On the same day Martin Luther King was born, the same year he was assassinated. So that would have been very weird, being that he really loved Martin Luther King. And with the Havana syndrome, he was the one that called it Havana syndrome when he went to Cuba in 2016. I didn't call it Havana syndrome, he did. I have on my Barack Obama shirt tonight to express that it wasn't me that wanted to assassinate him. Whoever's doing this to me now is the same person, the same people that are doing it to me now. It's been a lot of years since then, but it still bothers me today. And I call his friend Patrick J. Murphy a lot, especially when my head gets a lot of pain. I have to call him because the pain is undescribable and the grinding is undescribable because it does something to my tongue. It causes me not to talk as much or speak correctly or speak. I can't be able to talk or speak smoothly like I would normally do. So getting back to Havana syndrome. Havana syndrome is a microwave, low frequency. But how does it get on me? I don't know. I just know that it burnt my hair out. I could show you a picture of my hair being burnt out from the frequency. And hopefully you can see it. That's one part of my head that got burnt out by the frequency. So I think it's a laser or something that's coming from the sky. That's when my hair was blonde. This is when my hair was black. So how does it get on me? How does it get on me? I don't know. I just know that it burns my hair out. That's why my hair is short. I keep it short because it's useless to try to grow hair when something is burning your hair out. And the stinging was unbelievable. I kept scratching it and rubbing it. And I didn't realize I was rubbing my hair out. I was in Walmart one day and this man, he was in the produce section like I was bending over. Everyone knew me because of my brother's case. My brother died in police custody in 2013, 2.5 to 3 months after Barack Obama was inaugurated. So I believe he was a sacrifice for Barack Obama being inaugurated for the second term. That's my personal opinion. And and he looked at me strange, and I was like, why is he looking at me so strange? I didn't realize until my security camera on my black hair. My security camera caught that. And my hair burned out. I said, oh, that's why he was looking at me strange, because my hair is burned out. What do you do with Havana syndrome? Well, what you can do with Havana syndrome is, hello, John, how are you? There's nothing you can do with when someone else is in control. When someone else is controlling your head, your thoughts, your body. It's an invasion. Not only is it an invasion, but it's an invasion of my privacy. It's an invasion because of the 1973 law that says that you cannot experiment on people without their consent. And they've been experimenting on me for over 24 years. I've been like this for 24 years. And I'm going to continue to get on and do my podcast so that I can let you know if it progressed, if things have changed, or if it's still the same. How do you control your thoughts? I tell people rely on your religion or your spirituality because this thing doesn't believe in it. It tries to get me not to go on church online. It tries to get me not to go to Bible study. So whoever's doing this don't believe in it. Or either they believe in it, but they don't want me to believe in it. Believe in God, believe in Jesus. They don't want me to believe in it. So read the Bible, go to Bible study, go to church. That's what I tell people. That is the only way that you'll be able to at least keep your integrity. How does it feel to have Atlanta syndrome? Lousy. It feels lousy. Barack Obama talked about it when he went to Cuba in 2016. And when I talked to Pastor Jay Murphy in 2013, we were talking on the phone. And he's the best friend of Barack Obama. We were talking on the phone for almost 7 years straight, almost every single month. We might have missed 5 or 6 months, but we talked almost every single month. So I believe there's a conspiracy between Barack Obama saying it's Havana syndrome. By him saying Havana syndrome doesn't help me out because he, when Biden signed it into law, was making it legitimate. But it's only for military people. Only military people can get benefits. Only military people can get financial support to help them while they're going through all of this craziness that I go through. It tries to separate me from my family, try to isolate me from people. But one thing I say that I don't allow that to happen. When I feel like it's doing something that I don't normally do, then I go and do something that I normally do, which hang around my friends, call them on the telephone, see what they're doing. Anything, even if I don't say much on the phone, I still call them. And as you can see, my head is moving side to side. That's the strong strength of this frequency. So whoever's doing that is knowing what they're doing. Will it ever stop? I'm not sure. That's why I get on my podcast. That's why I get on TV. That's why I get on radio. Because my voice is hardly ever like this. There are days that my voice is okay, and there are days that my voice isn't okay. Today my voice isn't okay. And that's because I'm getting on my podcast. I hope that it does stop because it's interrupting my personal life. But I don't have a friend. I'm not dating because I don't want them thinking that I'm crazy. Although they heard of Havana syndrome or they might have heard a little bit about it, but they don't know much about it. They still act like it's not a big deal, but it's a big deal to me. It's a big deal to me because it's happening to me. And no one wants this on the worst enemy. If they do, then that's something that they desire. I just wanted to stop. I just wanted to be turned off. Whoever's doing it to be arrested for all the things that they did to me. I'm writing about it in my next book, Hidden in Plain Sight. Hidden in Plain Sight is about the microwave frequency, the FCC filing by David Morrison, who filed his FCC filing on September 16, 2016. I believe it's the 21st or 22nd. If you Google it, you can read up on Havana syndrome. You can go on YouTube. There's a lot of video on it. There's a lot of video on it. So I would say go on YouTube, Google it, find out what it is, because it could happen to you. And if it's not happening to you, then you're lucky. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to Winch About Break podcast. I will be talking more about Havana syndrome. Next week is going to be about rape. Not next week, but the next 2 weeks is going to be about rape and Havana syndrome. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I appreciate you. Have a good night.